All right, everyone. This is a story that's a little bit infuriating to me, actually. It doesn't take place in the United States, so maybe it doesn't directly impact me, but I am mostly of English and Scottish heritage. So most of my lineage goes back to the British Isles. And there's some German and Slovak in there, and possibly Abenaki, but we're still not sure. And while I consider myself simply American, I'm from the United States. I'm a native-born United States citizen. I'm a Native American. I still do have a love for like English countryside and stuff like that. And, 20 or 30 years ago, Americans often looked at, especially Northwestern Europe, the Northern Europe, the Scandinavian countries, like the Benelux region, Germany, Austria, I guess, Switzerland, certainly, and then like England and Ireland stuff, looked at it as sort of like it's quirky and it has a lot of good stuff going on. Peaceful, largely homogenized in many cases, although becoming more cosmopolitan at the time, and looked up to Europe in some ways. For example, if you look at the transit systems in Europe, they're a little bit more beefy than the ones that we have in the United States. Of course, we've got different terrain, so, give us a little bit more time, but, it was like, oh, a tram, stuff like that. That was basically it. Now I see this link in the description, not archived, it's a video. Here's a dude, he's carrying the flag of St. George. He's carrying the English flag. He's in the British Isles at the time. One would think you would be allowed to carry that flag wherever you went. Like if I take a US flag, I can take it anywhere that I want. There's nothing that anyone can do or say about it. Unless I try to plant it on somebody else's property or I hit them with the flagpole or something like that, or I'm waving it around in the middle of traffic, I'm impeding other people from movement or something, I can do whatever I want. Apparently, if there's a Palestine protest going on in England, you can't get too close to them with any other form of flag or something like that. That's even because it's considered under advertising rules. I would think that the one flag that would be the most protected in any given country would be the national flag. Flag of St. George is the flag of England. And of course, then you've got the Union Jack. That's for the United Kingdom at large. And then you've got flags for Wales, North Ireland, and Scotland as well. And these are the groups that associate under the broad umbrella of the UK. I would think that any of those flags anywhere in the United Kingdom should always be allowed. Again, unless there's some secondary thing you're doing with regards to that flag that somehow is imposing upon others. Of course, I can't take the US flag, go over to my neighbor's lawn and plunk it in and say, oh, this is, I'm going to put it here now because it's private property. Or you're trying to put it up on public property as part of a protest or something, and you're simply impeding. So it's not the fact that it's the flag that's the problem, it's how you're using it, basically, as a physical object. I would think that in any sane nation, that would be the case. Like, like, imagine the Gaul. If there were a protest in Mexico by some expat group of Cambodians, and they had an area and they were saying like, hey, Mexico for the Cambodians, and they all had the Cambodian flag. Imagine what would happen if the cops came because somebody had a Mexican flag and intended to like counter signal against them, and the cops arrested them or took the flag or something like that. There was another protest. It wasn't long ago either. There's a 16-year-old girl. She's standing on a table and she's got the Union Jack. Cop just comes and rips it out of her hands. Like, no, you can't do that. Why is it that every flag other than your own flags are the ones that are legally protected? Imagine if this dude, and this would be an excellent troll for any English viewers, he should take the flag of St. George to one of these protests, right? The cops apparently will tell you it's not allowed. Then you should say, oh, very well, take it down and put an Antifa flag on there, or a communist flag, or maybe a pride flag. Do you think they're going to snatch it out of your hands then? I don't think so. So maybe you should come with an extra flag in your backpack or something like that. Protest is perfectly fine. Counter-protest is also generally legally protected in civilized nations, and I fear the backsliding of the UK. To my US audience, I would say this is exactly the kind of thing we need to push hard against. We must prevent this from happening. When it comes to the point where you're not allowed to wave your own nation's flag in your own nation in the United States, I suppose our state flags would be similar to the flags of like, yeah, like Scotland and Wales and stuff, or the flag of St. George. And the Welsh flag, nobody can even pronounce any of their street names. Probably the Welsh can't either. So I don't know. I mean, it resembles a language, I suppose. I'm just joking, Welsh people. Don't worry. We all know that you like sheep a little bit too much, but we still love you. I'd love to visit Wales, actually. My grandpa was part Welsh, actually. Pretty cool. But seriously, you have to have designated zones to fly the flag of your own nation. And by the way, why can't he just say, "No, I'm not protesting. I'm just carrying the flag around." You know, it's the flag of the nation I happen to be standing on at the moment. I would think it's generally acceptable. What are these retards worried about, the government and the cops? What are they worried about? You're afraid that flying the flag of your own nation is going to antagonize people? If they're that antagonized by you waving the flag of your own nation, do you think they should be there? I don't think that they should. I think that you should kick them out and you should preserve the people of your own nation. Because quite clearly, this situation is fast becoming untenable. I mean, the migrant crisis that really was even a problem for Europe at the same time as the United States and has metastasized since. The problem of protests getting more and more antagonistic, more and more violent, the problem of censorship. You know, the British government will jail you if you make the wrong Facebook post. They'll put you in jail for longer than somebody that stabbed somebody to death on the trolley. And this is not hyperbole. I wish that it were. I wish that I were just making a joke about the left being completely out of touch and the government's being corrupt. But it's no longer hyperbole. The kind of hyperbolic references made 10 years ago are now true in some cases. And they're getting worse, not better. So there needs to be a strong cultural pushback against this sort of thing. Um, it should be decreed. I mean, fucking King Charles, if he had any balls, and you know, who knows if he does anymore, probably not. He should come out and say, and by royal decree, he should say, look, I'm commanding Parliament to vote in favor of protecting the usage of the English flag anywhere in England and so forth. That's what he should do. And while it wouldn't carry any technical legal weight, it would probably nudge things in that direction. I have a feeling that would rile up all of the royalists over there, which comprise a significant proportion of the population, actually, including some of the immigrant population. Ironically enough, I've spoken with people like that. I'm not a royalist myself because I condemn monarchism in all of its forms, but you know, if you're going to have your monarchy, your legacy monarchy, and all of this stuff, defend your nation. I mean, shit, you've defended against worse before successfully. I would think that a rabble of morons like this could easily be, you know, tamped down on. Just saying. That's about all. Peace out.